In 2017, pianist Sunwoo Yekwon catapulted himself into the upper echelons of the classical music realm by becoming the first Korean to win the Cliburn International Piano Competition, a prestigious competition held only once every 4 years. His journey didn't stop there, of course. He has gone on to grace renowned concert halls around the world and collaborated with esteemed orchestras. He's now the Korean with the most wins in major international piano competitions. He joined us today in the studio for Touch Base in Seoul with a new album release as well, titled Rachmaninoff, a reflection. Let's bring him in now. Mr. Sunwoo, hello and welcome to the show.
Yeah, it's great to be here. Thank you.
Yes, it's a great honor to have you here with us today. Can we perhaps start at the start? Can you tell us about how you began your journey with music and the piano?
Yes, so I think for those of fans who have seen me around, I think they all know the stories. But I started playing the piano when I was about 8 years old. I have two older sisters. They both played the piano, so I kind of, I was a little bit jealous, and it looked like it was fun playing the piano. So I asked my mom that I want to learn playing the piano. So since then I've been playing, and I went to the US when I was about 15 years old in 2005. I went to Curtis, this college, at the same time I was going to this high school just around the neighborhood. And after that I went to Juilliard for a master's degree, then I went to Mannes. And after that, I moved to Germany. I went to Hanover School. So, I've been playing the piano for about 16 years now. I think, yeah.
Sure, and you were clearly very talented, and your career flourished. But
sorry, not 16. Well, I'm 34. So wait, my math is terrible.
So 26 years or so.
Yes.
So more than 20 years now. Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
But yes, despite your career flourishing, it was really the Cliburn International Piano Competition in 2017. Right. That was a huge landmark for you, a huge milestone.
Yes.
I understand. Can you tell us a bit more about that experience as well?
Yes, this is one of the competitions that can really boost your concert career, and you can almost right away after winning the competition you can start to have concert opportunities all over the world. And in 2017 I was very, very grateful that I have won the competition, and I was having lots of mixed feelings because I was very happy, of course, but at the same time I was also sad, ironically.
Sad?
That the whole whole competition goes for a couple weeks, but of course you prepare those music, almost 3 to 4 hours of music, very intensively, and for almost in my case I think almost like half a year or something.
Right.
But of course there are pieces that I've learned way back. So during the process of that preparation, I was getting even closer to each composer that I have worked on and each piece that I prepared. So in certain way I was very
I think I know what you mean. I think film actors have talked about it as well. When they finish a film, or actors in a play, once they finish their run, they're suddenly left with a feeling of emptiness, because they're suddenly left, even though it might have been a very successful film or a very successful play, suddenly they felt like they've got nothing to do now for a while.
Right.
Yeah.
And in my case, of course, the competition ended in June, and almost right away I was having concerts, and close to over 100 concerts per year. So I was, physically, mentally very busy, but, still I was just bittersweet feelings, I think. But of course I was very, very grateful for the gold medal of the competition.
And clearly it changed your life afterwards, right?
Almost, yeah.
I mean, how would you say it changed? Because, as you said, 100 concerts a year, it seems like then your career would have just shot up.
Right. It's completely different. And of course, you fly very often and you have to get used to the time differences. And also, you're not playing the same repertoire over and over. You change periodically, and you have different solo repertoires. But I was also very inclined towards playing chamber music. So it's a lot of music to cover, but these days you're kind of expected to have a large amount of repertoire, and it's for me, fortunately, I have played quite a few repertoire back in the day, so there are many things that kind of stay in my fingers. But yeah, I think one thing is that because of all the schedules and travels, I lost some weight. I used to be kind of not too chubby, but a little bit. So but naturally I lost some weight.
Right, sure. It shows perhaps how hard you've been working as well. So we have you today. You are promoting a new album called Rachmaninoff, A Reflection. A Reflection, that's quite a mysterious sounding title, I would almost say.
Right.
Can you tell us about it? I believe you actually played Rachmaninoff piece as your final round concerto for the Van Cliburn as well.
And also the album live competition album. There's Rachmaninoff Sonata, but for the final round I played the Rachmaninoff Concerto number 3, and this is the piece that I have first played when I was, I think, 16, 17, and since then I have played, I think, the most times. So it's even though it's very technically demanding, also ironically for me, I think it's the piece that I feel closest to my heart, and also somewhat easier with my hands. It just fits into my fingers a little bit easier than some of the other repertoire.
Right.
For me, Rachmaninoff's second concerto is more difficult for my hands somehow. So I think when I was recording a new album, this year particularly is 150th anniversary of Rachmaninoff. So I just naturally thought about this composer who I dearly love, and I wanted to have his solo recording. And the last album was Mozart, which was about 3 years ago, and I wanted to have something a little bit more contrasting. So, yeah.
Right, so you have this, I would say, perhaps even a connection with Rachmaninoff then, especially looking back at your career.
Right.
That second part of the title, A Reflection, can you tell us a bit more about that? What do you mean? Like, was it something personal for you about how you reflect over your relationship with Rachmaninoff? Or?
Very personal, and also metaphorically, I think I wanted to, for the people who look at the CDs and who listen to the CDs, I wanted them to have their own views when they're listening to this album. And for me, I thought about this title partly because I recorded the CD in the beginning of June, and the night before the first day of recording session, I recorded in Dongyeong, and I think after I practiced several hours in the hall, it was I forget what time it was, but around maybe 9 p.m. in the evening, I was coming back to the hotel, just a couple minutes from the hall, and I saw this reflection. I love watching the moonlight reflection on the water, and I recall vividly when it was a full moon, and I was almost praying, and I was hoping that I will do my best, and I was quite sick at that time, but I was praying, watching the water reflection, that the next 2 days I will be able to finish the recording sessions, without
Sure.
collapsing.
Well, it sounds like you're pushing yourself quite hard. I think the fans would say to tell you to look after yourself. You talk about how you were sick and how you've been losing weight.
Right. No. But I wasn't sick when I lost my weight. I lost weight because when you travel often, if you eat too much, then you will feel
Right. Okay.
it's just too much, and so to be healthy, I lost a little bit of weight, and I was working out.
Right.
But at this time when I was recording the CD in June, I also did this 예비군 훈련, where the basic training,
Sure.
the
military
mandatory
training.
you have to do. The same week and the week before, and I commuted every day for a couple of days, 3 days and 4 days. At the same time, I was practicing the evening, so that was not
A tough period.
good. Yeah.
Well, as I mentioned, you have your fans. What do you hope your fans and audiences in general take away from your music, your performances?
I think it's up to the people who listen to the music. But for me, for my role is to serve the music, serve the composer, and try to bring out the most I can with my ability and what I have studied whenever I play certain music. But what's great about music is any kind of music is that it's not something I have to tell people. But of course, there are certain things that I try to express. But that doesn't mean they feel the same kind of expression that I expressed. So it's really up to them. But I'm hoping that they will have something in their heart. Hopefully not an anger, but any kind of feeling.
Sure.
After the concert, they will go home with something. Then I will be happy with how I have done.
And you have an upcoming tour as well, right?
Yes, with this album, I will. In the second half, I do 2 pieces from the album, and in the first half, I do Bach's music. So I will do. The concerts are. They start on September 23rd, 4th. I think the last concert is on the 20th of October. I'm terrible with the dates. But in Seoul, it's the 18th of October.
Sure.
And I think I go to 11, 12 different cities. So I'm very much looking forward to meeting lots of people. Yeah.
Yes, I'm sure the fans here in Korea will be very much looking forward to it. Well, we very much appreciate your time, for you coming in today and to reflect on your career as well. We'll have to leave it there. We've been talking to pianist Sunwoo Yekwon. Thank you once again for your time today.
Thank you. Very happy to be here. Thank you.